Welcome into the Beat Sessions, the place for all things music and where we do the listening for you. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about Will Oldham, aka Bonnie Prince Billy, and his new record, Keeping Secrets Will Destroy You. He released that on August 11th. Over the last 30 years, Will has recorded a number of studio albums under different monikers, both solo projects and collaborations. So I think this record puts him right around 30. It's his follow-up to 2021's Blind Date Party, a collaboration that he did with Bill Callahan. And if you want to go back to his last solo effort under the moniker of Bonnie Prince Billy, go back to 2019 and the album I Made a Place. This man is easily one of the most charming and intriguing lyricists that is out there. Great singer-songwriter, but there's something about the way that he writes. There's such a literary element to it. He's incredibly poetic, insightful, thoughtful. This is a man that has really gotten quite better with age as well. It's very interesting to see him open up a little bit over the years, and on this particular record, pretty much opening up completely. I think that, as stated, there's an intellectual aspect to his music always, but there's something about this record that really is just striking a chord with me and a number of other people. It was really cool to start digging into reviews after listening to this record, doing a little research on the project, recorded in Kentucky. You know, basically this album feels like a group of friends gathering to jam. There's an austerity to these recordings. I love the minimalism. I love the excellent folk drive that's at work here. A lot of these songs really are just going to revolve around guitar play and vocals. And that's really, given the lyrical content and given that this is probably Will's heaviest album to date lyrically under the moniker of Bonnie Prince Billy. This record is so insightful. And I love the way that he really is reflecting on a lot of heavy things, death, the current state of the world, and comparing them to things that are just so everyday and ordinary, things that we can identify with, things that I guess help simplify what can be so complicated as far as our emotions sometimes. Being able to look at something, simplistically, a nice little analogy, a glass of wine or a summer breeze, all of these things that he puts to work, creating a vision of the pastoral while also, leading his listener into a realm of thought where they're going to face and tackle some difficult stuff, but the music helps to just alleviate the tension a little bit. But that minimalism really is also allowing the stories to be told. There's some really fun stories at play here. I love the perspective. I'm really enjoying this album as a whole from start to finish. It is a beautiful piece of work, but these compositions are so strong on their own. There's always that, that funny side of Will at play here. The song Bananas is the lead single. This is something that he's relatively well known for, being playful, a little sexual innuendo there. So, that's something that I don't care how old you get. I don't care how old he gets. From time to time, a good dick joke's a good dick joke. But, that song, it's more than that. There's something very nuanced, and just the word charming, again, comes to mind as far as there are a few songwriters that can get away with writing something like this. He's one of those guys, and it's what makes him so unique and sets him apart and makes this record, I'll just say it right off the bat, this is a must listen. This record is heavy. I definitely would find yourself in a space where you can just take an hour to listen and then maybe take an hour to reflect and listen again. It's that kind of experience, but it's so worth it. And his vocals, so warm. I might argue that at some moments the production is a little too much on the vocals. But what I will say is that the harmonies that are at work here, and I'm having a hard time trying to identify who is the female artist, or, there could be a number of female artists that are providing background vocals and providing those harmonies on this record. If you have any information on that, I would love it if that was thrown down in the comments there for everybody to know about, because it's definitely a highlight of the record for me. Those harmonies, there's so many songs where they're really at the forefront, really at the center, and they're just really nicely done. This thing, it kicks off with Like It or Not. Big opener, one of the longer tracks. And you talk about dealing with heavier issues. This thing just rolling right off the bat with the idea of death but also the weird sort of comfort that comes with realizing that everybody has to face this, and everybody's different as far as their progression in life and when they come to terms with dealing with this. And I think it's also, no matter how much you come to terms with it, I guess there's still that element of getting older, getting closer and closer to that moment that I think on a day-to-day basis, depending on my mood anyway, there's times where I get in a pensive zone where I'm like, man, I wish I haven't gotten there, closing in on 40, and being, a little closer to the brink of that is something that I really like about this record. I believe that Will is like 54, something like that. He's in his mid 50s roughly. So certainly getting there as well. And it's something that we all have to deal with again. And that's what I like about this song. It's a gentle message in I guess, encouraging everybody to take that step to come to terms. It's a great opener. I love the song. I love the weight of it. It's got this delicate acoustic and vocal track. The harmonies here are outstanding as well. But what I really like about the music is that it's like a great blend of Americana and this Neapolitan feel that's really cool. You get kind of those frenzied strings in the guitar. Sounds like a mandolin. Could be a mandolin. You never know these days with instrumentation and all the different tools that people have to record with. But I love this song. Behold, Beheld is your second track, light acoustic guitar. Again, it's a pretty common theme here. I love the organ that sneaks in on this song, though. It's fabulous nuance. And then there's another great component of this song is the saxophone that just comes out of nowhere. I absolutely love it. It fits perfect in this song. Definitely struck me. Bananas is your third track. Again, a funny, playful song. Little innuendo here. I think you follow along with the lyrics, and it gets a little more specific than just the banana there, but like guitar and harmonies, it's really one of those tracks where I think the harmonies are really playing very well. Blood of the Wine is your fourth track. Beautiful lush strings to open on this thing. Gentle guitar behind. And then there's a breakdown and a shift in that dynamic. The guitar becomes more of the centerpiece there while the strings kind of work in and out. It's pretty interesting. A little more of that Neapolitan flair on this song. Different tempos. I love just the different changes of pace in this song. It's probably my favorite track. Beautiful number. All of these songs are great, but there's something that just really struck me about that song. Sing Them Down Together is your fifth track. Acoustic vocal to open. You get a tiny bit of organ behind that. Minimal, pretty up feeling track though. I like the moment that this track comes. It's kind of like one of the shorter songs on the record, but it's got great flair and great energy. Kentucky is Water. Simple number, like the minimalism on this track, just him and his guitar, tender reflections on life and learning. And this is a song like I really just want to bring up the lyrics because they're so pretty. Knowing is the first step to unknowing. Even little children will agree. Never try to deny a wind it's blowing. The moment you do, your heart will be lost to eternity. Usually I can be found with my family, courageous and careful and loving our now and wow. Knowing is the first step to unknowing. You can unknow too, and we'll show you how. I love this song. I love those lyrics. Probably some of the best lyrics on this record, but to each their own. There's so many good examples. This next song, the personification of the willow, pine, and oak. That is your seventh track. Starts off pretty brutal with the willow, the pine, a little more sturdy, a little more character there, but still not quite enough. Will Oldham is an oak guy for sure. But I love the lyrics. I love the play on these trees and what they represent to Will especially. Gentle string arrangement on this thing. I really like the drive of it there. And just a good old story about why the oak is the best tree. Trees of Hell is your eighth song. That is not a tree that is mentioned in the previous song, but little feedback to open. This is probably, I don't know. So, Will's a guy that in the past, he's got kind of like a punk rock flair. So you get just like a tiny bit of that on a record where it's really not, an influence, a presence at all. But that's going to open up a little bit. And then you just get these, guitar strum on this, these single notes. And then I really like the way that this song is carried by strings as well. The strings on this song, gorgeous, dark, ominous feel in this track. I really like the vocal melodies as well. You get this like simple guitar that works in later on. Honestly, it feels like, you know, kind of like a Renaissance style instrumentation. It's really pretty, very complimentary. I'm a fan. Rise and Rule. She was born in Honolulu. This is a great story here. I love this song. Read along to this. One of the longer tracks, but arpeggiated riff. It's you know, think of this song. It's got that like 60s Laurel Canyon feel. Think of that vibe. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Joni Mitchell. I love the feel of this track. Tiny bit of that island feel at play here. Obviously, the main character, you know, being from Hawaii, but just a great story of perseverance. And you know, I hate to bring it up, but sadly, at this time when you know those people are going through so much right now, you know, this is a song about, you know, about overcoming a lot of obstacles. And it's one of those like weird things just, you know, at this moment, but a beautiful song, a beautiful story. And I think the message is sound and you know, makes it a song worth listening to. Queens of Sorrow, your 10th track. Lighter mood coming off of Rise and Rule, but carried by harmonies. I really like the kind of like lullaby quality of this track. The instrumentation and the chorus is excellent. Lyrics are heavy in contrast too. I like that dynamic here, and it's something that's, you know, pretty common with all these songs. Crazy Bluebells. This is an interesting track. Your penultimate song. It's got a moody vocal and guitar to open. Intense strings and harmonies in the chorus, and then they back off. They take on kind of like a lighter feel, but I just the contrast that's there is quite interesting. I love the frenzied strings that work in during this the segment of ding dongs. There's this, you know, just big stretch of track in the middle of the song with great harmonies, great strings. It really builds into something quite unique and wonderful. And then Good Morning Popocatépetl is your final track. Simple acoustic vocal harmonies, getting male vocal harmonies on this track. It's a different thing than all of the other harmonies on the record. Organ enters about 45 seconds in. You get some strings in the coda. A nice, just, you know, quick, simple, minimal track to close this thing out. Considering the gravity of Crazy Bluebells, it feels like a nice, just closing chapter to end what is a marvelous record. Honestly, this will definitely be in the I think I'm going to try to put together a top 25 list. This will be on it for sure. This record is outstanding and worth a listen. And if you haven't checked it out already, give it a go. Vinyl, please, for sure. Hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help us blow this project up in 2023. And stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.